welcome to RWB Sports. This is Reginald Peoples here, and we are in the presence of one of the greats. One of the it's not very often that you get to speak to someone that has been on that stage and has been on that platform and has now doing the same thing you're doing, is turning boxing journalism on its head. They're trying to bring back what we grew up with in the sport of boxing, and that's bringing you all the latest and greatest news of what goes on, giving you the inside of boxing. And I'm talking to no other than Gregory Townes. He is the man behind Punchingbaskunk Boxing. And welcome, Gregory. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, man, that's awesome. That's an awesome introduction. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, man, it's an honor. I'm really honored to be on your show, man. I follow you guys. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of you guys, and I follow you anyway. And yeah, it's really great to be here with you, man.
Man, I really appreciate it. So for the fans out there, I've done my research and I've done my background check as any, news journalist would. For the fans out there and the viewers, let them know who Gregory is. We had a little brief chat right before we came on air, and the things that you were mentioning to me was very intriguing. Explain to the viewers who Gregory is.
Yeah, hey man, you listen. I wear a lot of hats. My boxing connection is basically I've been boxing my whole life. That's what I've always done. I started boxing at 11. Won my first title at 14. I won the New England Junior Olympic Championships. Went to the regionals that year. Then I wasn't always a good boy, so I went, little boys prison, whatever you want to call it. But just as far as my boxing, I've fought Golden Gloves, went through the juniors, went to the Golden Gloves, AUs, went to a couple of national amateur tournaments, turned professional in '88. Went, I think, 8 or 9-0 before I lost my first fight to Greg Everett in Philly. At the time, he's ranked 6th in the world. I got 15 fights. I fought 5 top 10 in the world guys out of that 15 fights. So it wasn't no playing around back in my day. You had to jump right in the fire.
Yeah.
After my defeat, I went win loss till I retired. I fought the Olympic gold medalist Andrew Maynard on CBS Sports. I've been in big arenas, Atlantic City 3 or 4 times, Madison Square Garden. But since I've been retired, I think my best work is yet to come. I am the owner and proprietor of Punchingbagskunk Boxing Media Incorporated, which consists of a website, 2 websites, I'm sorry, YouTube channel. We're basically on every social media platform there is, Pinterest, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, the normal rounds.
Right.
We got correspondents all over the place, California, Florida, England, Canada, Washington, all over. We got correspondents everywhere. So we just basically, I want to keep boxing. I want to keep boxing old school. I'm an old school guy. I'm a component of old school. I'm constantly beating up these young guys. Sometimes they tell me, "Shut up, old man. Move on with the times," and all that stuff. But I think there's a part of boxing that needs to be preserved. All right, there's a part of boxing that needs to be preserved, and I think that it's getting lost in the sauce. Look, man, we got Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul. To me, and I don't want to change the subject. I'm just, I'm just saying that kind of stuff irks me. But yeah, that's basically who I am. I'm a boxing fan first. I've always been a boxing fan first. I'm a boxing historian. I'm like Marvin Hagler said, if you cut my head open, you're gonna just get a boxing glove out of there. That's all you're gonna get. And I follow everyone that loves the sport. Boxing. Most of the guys, a lot of the legends are personal friends of mine, like Ray Mercer, Tim Witherspoon, Iran Barkley. There's a lot of names out there that I got personal connections with, or personal friends of mine.
Right.
Just try to keep boxing relevant, man. I mean, look, at this day and age, Mr. Reginald, at this day and age, we got to be careful because there's other platforms that come in and they kind of dilute not the history. They kind of dilute the feel, for lack of a better word, the feel of boxing. In other words, I tell the kids all the time, boxers used to fight for something a little more than what they're fighting for now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think it was like, it's not about money. I think boxers fought more about pride, belt pride, and it was just a little deeper. So I like to keep that connection. Again, listen, I battle kids online all day long. And they always drag me through the mud, telling me to come with the times. And I'm an old man. I'm a relic. Blah blah blah. And I'm just not going to do it. You know what I mean? Just not going to do it. Anyway. Let me. Hey man, I'll keep going. You got to stop me, brother. You got to stop me.
No, that's what we're here for. This is your platform. This is your show, and that's what I love about you, because I watch and follow you as well, and I watch and follow your stories and your topics, and I love it. That's what made me want to reach out to you and do this interview, because I'm old school myself, and I like the way that we trained and that we worked back in the day, opposed to the way they're working now. And we'll get into that. We'll probably have to bring that back for another show. Because I'm like you. I don't like the way the fighters are treating the sport now, because it's more of a popularity thing. Me personally, I think they have too many belts out there.
Oh yeah.
You have way too many belts. Back when we were growing up, you knew what you were fighting for, and you knew if you were going to be a contender for that, because there was only 3 belts.
Yeah.
Belts, you unified the belt. We didn't have no intercontinental. We didn't have no belt. We didn't have any of that stuff.
Look, and I think that, well, we all know where it came from, because TV networks needed to because to sell a fight, you got to have, back then they needed a belt to sell the fight. No network wanted to pay for it unless it was a championship belt. So obviously that kind of lent to them creating belts, because you know what I mean. So then that diluted, and you take a 100% vodka and you start pouring soda into it, it's going to dilute it. So that's basically what it did. It diluted the game. But here's what bothers me about that, is that now it seems like the actual skill level is down. Like I look at fighters from the 80s, 90s, and I look at fighters today. And I say to myself, is it me or was we better? And I don't want to be that old guy who's, our guys are better. We're not, you guys are bums. I want to be that old miserable boxer, ex-boxer. But I want to say, it looks to me like the actual skill level is regressing. And now we got to ask ourselves why. If that's the case, then why? And there's look, I don't know the exact numbers. I did the research before. I can't remember. I think there was like 44 heavyweight champions since like 1912 or something like that. In other words,
but I can tell you why. I can tell you why that is, and that's because we had more to fight for. We were hungry because there was only 3 belts out there in each weight class. There was only 3 belts. So we knew we had to be on point and on our game if we were going to make it, to the top 10, to be able to contend for those belts. Now they have so many belts. You can be, 5-5 and get called in to fight for a belt.
Be like a 3-time champion.
Yeah, that's what.
You know what I mean? Hey, I see. I talked to this kid, amateur kid. I'm not gonna throw him out there because he's a kid, but he's got, and this is no way of a lie, he's got like 9 amateur belts. This kid is like 13. He's got like 9 amateur belts. Look, I still hold on to the New England Junior Olympic Boxing Championship I won when I was 14 years old. 1 trophy, 1 championship. It meant something. Now kids got 100 belts and they only got like 20 fights. So that tells you. So, but going back to what you said earlier about the hand pads. Hand pads really aggravate me because I know there's some good to having hand pads. But with that said, anything that a kid or I don't want to sound sexist, but anything that a kid or an amateur or some jackass that just straight off the street can do exactly like a professional, I got to start questioning its effectiveness. You get what I'm saying? I see people that had nothing to do with boxing, but they can look real nice on them pads. Pop, pop, pop. You know what I'm saying? Right? I don't. So how good are they? How much good are they doing in that case?
Well, answer me this. Answer me this. Uh, What purpose do the pads serve? Working
You
hand
can
pads.
talk to 10 different people, get 10 different answers. I think anything to do with that is hand-eye coordination and body synchronization. In other words, when you hit the speed bag, it's for your hand-eye coordination. In other words, when you see the opening, all right, remember the movie, remember Into the Dragon with Bruce Lee?
Yes.
Everyone's seen Bruce Lee Into the Dragon. Remember he was
Right.
talking to the master at the beginning, and he said, your skills are becoming spiritual now. When he talked about hit, it not only you don't hit, it hits. What that is that natural, if you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you do that enough, you're gonna do that on autopilot. I got hit so hard one time in the second round as an amateur fight that I don't remember the second round, but I won the second round. Why? Because instinct. What I was already in, I knew what to do. My body was on autopilot, even though I was halfway here. KO knocked out, conscious. This is us right now, conscious. This is someone knocked out. I'm right in the middle, where I'm not conscious, but I'm not like with us. When you're in that frame of mind, you work on instinct. That's why when the fighter is right in the middle, dazed up, and la la land, whatever you want to call it, that's why feints work. Because feints work because your body is automatically in survival mode. It's going to go for the feint because the first thing is going to try to survive. Are you with me? You follow what I'm saying? So when the guy's hurt, I think I lost your audio, champ.
Uh-oh. Are you there?
I got you back. So you know what I'm saying? But I think pads are basically for hand-eye coordination. Also, I know it could be for conditioning, aerobic conditioning, because you get a good heart rate going when you hit them. So it's going to be good for that. It's going to be good for hand-eye coordination. And look, let me just say this. When I was growing up, I'm old school. I used the sandpaper hand wraps, the old canvas bags. I'm old school. When I was fighting, what we did would be considered child abuse now when I was fighting. But you know what I mean? But so my trainer, God bless his soul, Archie Johnson, my amateur trainer, he wouldn't even let us hit stuff like the speed bag and all that. He used to call them toys. Only thing you did was your calisthenics, your heavy bag work, your sparring, all that stuff. And if you wanted the speed bag, you can only hit the speed bag when you're done with everything else. So I think Archie, God bless his soul, he would feel the same way about that as he does with the pads right now. There you go.
And I feel the same way. I mean, it's become, a pretty boy thing is what I call it, because I mean, like you said, yeah, you can get cardio from it, or you can get hand-eye coordination from it. But coming up, when we were, in the gym, we had sparring to work on our hand-eye coordination. We had a double end bag, that we used to work on our hand-eye coordination. The double end bag is a bag that is becoming obsolete now in gyms.
And I like that. And that's a good bag.
Yes, it's a great bag. But
it's a great bag.
You see your true champions still working the double end bag because they're being taught by the old school trainers.
Yep.
They're being taught the old school ways. And that's where your champions, once they get up there and get those belts, they're there forever.
Because, they chop. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. That's because they're taught the old school ways. You got those new age champions up there. They get up there and then they turn all their attention towards the public, which I understand. Your fans are who make you, but yet still have a job to do. You still have business to do.
People change, right? People change just like times change. You got football players back in 1970, a lineman was like 275 pounds. That was a big lineman. Today, that's not even a lineman, that's a linebacker. So I get it. You got to go with the times. But things that was done in boxing in the 70s and things that are done in boxing now, it's like, listen, first of all, most sports always come to do the boxing workout. Boxing workout, baseball players, basketball players, everybody wants to do the boxing workout because we are the most finely conditioned athletes on the planet, period. Anyone that argues that point is an idiot, as far as I'm concerned. So what I'm trying to say is that when if you're chopping wood, remember back in the day, old fighters like Archie Moore, George Foreman, chop wood. they got machines that actually simulate that same action. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? So it's really not, it's not much a difference. It's just a new way to do the same damn thing, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm going to beg to differ with you there, Gregory, because there is a difference to it. It's just like lifting weights. It's just like lifting weights on a machine. If
Yeah.
you put it on a machine, that machine guides your weight. All you have to worry about is pushing. All right.
Okay. You're talking about like Nautilus machines, like Nautilus equipment, right?
Yeah. Now this
Yeah,
machine.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Working free weights, not
Yeah.
only do you have to push that weight, but you have to balance that weight. There's a lot more to come into play.
I got you. I totally agree with that. I agree with that. Yep.
To simulate that, it's not the same because when you throw that axe, not only do you have to throw that axe, but you have to make sure that the head of that axe is going to hit that wood.
Right. What is the like when you talk about different some training methods now and then, what I point out is that it seems like, first of all, fighters fight less rounds. We used to fight 15 rounds, all right?
Yes.
15 round fights. So they're fighting 12 rounds now, which really only fighting like 6 or 7 because they always bull crap for about another 5 or 6. So I'm saying, so
Right.
who's in better shape? Like obviously we was in better shape. So if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Why are we coming with all these new face masks that got gas, lets a little bit of oxygen in, all these space age Ivan Drago training routines for what?
Right.
I mean, look, we jump rope, hit the bag. I tell people now, you don't need a bunch of punches, a little left, right hook, a little uppercut, in shape, you're going to compete. You know what I mean? But people want to do people want all the fancy extras. I don't think we need all that.
Yo,
You know what I mean? I'm bringing the pain, baby.
right.
You know
I don't think you need all of that. And what I used to tell people is that, and when I used to train, I got away from training because people kept wanting me to train them and want me to boxercise. I can't teach you how to boxercise. I can teach you how to kick someone's ass, but I can't teach you how to boxercise. So
yeah.
I was forced to pull my aggression back in training, and that's not the way that I train. That's not the way I was trained. Broadway out of Nashville, Tennessee, he didn't train that way, so I don't train that way.
Is it hard for you? Is it hard for you to watch the game today, being an old school cat like me and knowing what it used to be? Doesn't it like annoy you sometimes? Like it actually annoys me sometimes.
Gregory, I'm to the point now to where I despise the heavyweight division, and I was a heavyweight. I despise the heavyweight division. And they will tell you themselves, we don't do cardio anymore. They
eat donuts. They eat donuts now and go into a championship fight. Guys coming out of shape and there's no shame. Like there's no shame. I'm not even talking about Tyson Fury because I know he just looks like a doughboy anyway. But I'm just saying, overall, I see a lot of heavyweights come in and they are obviously not in shape that they could be.
When they getting into those 7-foot fighters just because they were big and just because they could dominate and overpower people, that's when the heavyweight division, in my opinion, started going downhill because you just took away from the sport itself. You didn't have to train because you were automatically dominant because you were so much bigger. And I hate the heavyweight division now because there's no one in there. And I'm not talking about just the excitement of knockouts. Yeah, Mike Tyson was a great fighter. He was. But when he tested and taken to the limits to where he had to use boxing skills, once Gus died and he got away from Rooney and those guys, he went downhill. He lost the talent that he was given. He lost the talent that he had. You know, I remember the Chris Birds. I remember the Vanderbilts. Like you said, I remember the Mercers. All of those guys who actually had, a skill level that they relied on. Big George, when he was in his youth, he had a skill level that he relied on. Even though he was bigger, he had a heavy punch. He still did the road work. He still did it. And that takes me back to what I was saying earlier. I could teach, and the reason I got out of training fighters is because I can teach you how to punch. All right. I can teach you how to throw a punch. I can teach you how to put whatever you weigh behind a punch. But if you can't punch, why am I teaching you? If you're not willing to do the road work, if you're not willing to do the nasty stuff, then why am I going to teach you how to do the good stuff?
It's a mindset. It's a mindset. That's why. Listen, I tell people all the time, I've been fighting since I was a kid. In my hometown, there's tons of guys that I grew up with that are better fighters than me. But to be a professional prize fighter, you have to have something else. And that something else is that's what gets you up at 4 o'clock in the morning to run when everybody else is sleeping. That keeps you in the gym working when everybody else is having fun, screwing girls and smoking weed and drinking liquor when you're training. This is what separates the men from the boys. This is why guys like Kobe Bryant was such a great athlete, because he was dedicated to the sport. Any fighter that is dedicated to the sport is going to be good. That's it. It's going to be good. I'm not saying they're going to be great, but they're going to be good. I know plenty of mediocre fighters that became champion that don't have a bunch of natural talent, but they're just hard workers. You can work yourself there. The thing is, today's fighters are it's the social media. Listen, you got kids right now that are more interested in taping training videos of themselves training and posting on social media than actually fighting. When I was a kid, I'd want my fight to be on social media, not me hitting the bag or hitting pads or doing all this foolishness. These kids, you know what I mean?
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right, 100%. And one of those things that led up to that is, and don't get me wrong, because I am a Floyd Mayweather fan. You know, I love Floyd.
You ever what?
I'm a Floyd Mayweather fan. You know, I love.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not be? I'm a fan. I mean, not my favorite fighter, but I respect any fighter that retired undefeated. I respect any fighter. People always dog Floyd, including myself. I've been hot on him in the past. You can look at my videos. I beat him up sometimes because I don't like that style. I just don't like it. I've never liked it. I've never hit that. I don't like it. I think it's not a style that would fit in the 80s, but Sugar Ray Leonard and Duran on them guys. But I will say, people sell Floyd short because they forget about Pretty Boy Floyd. Pretty Boy Floyd was the guy that would get in the trenches with you. Go look at the Coley fight. That was a dog fight. Go look at the Diego Corrales fight. Go look at them early fights. This dude already paid his dues. If he wanted to kind of coast a little bit later on in the career, I don't have no problem with that. So when people beat up Floyd, I'm not an anti-Floyd. I just don't. Nothing about Floyd's fight game that bothers me. What bothers me about Floyd is the money culture that he brought to boxing. When he's like kind of indoctrinate the kids and think it's about money. Listen, I know plenty of old champions that don't got no money, but they're proud champions. They might even have detached retinas now, or they might drool a little bit, or they might walk on their heels a little bit, or they might be showing the effects of boxing a little bit, but they're still proud champions. And you can go to them and they pull out little pictures of when they was fighting, news clippings, and they are proud of that. I think boxing needs to preserve that. Never mind all this. I want to lead the game in my facilities, and I want to take care of my family. Listen, nigga, and I don't want to say nigga, let me just take that back. You edit that out because I don't want to make it racial. But I'm just saying, a lot of these fighters, old races, got that culture where they talk about taking care of their families, but they're not really taking care of their families. They're at the strip club making it rain with money. They're on social media playing like superstars and Hollywood starlets. So don't tell me about you got all this traditional family stuff. You think fighters back in 1950 didn't love their families? You think they didn't love their families? Yeah, they love their families. So a lot of them guys are broke. You know what I'm saying? So get out and miss me with all that bull crap. You know what I'm saying? Miss me with that.
Without question, because they back in the 50s and 60s, they really did it for their families, because you have to realize what they went through, what they had to go through, you know, to be there, especially the African-American fighter. You know, he had to go through so much, you know, but they figured that they knew that was an easy way for them to make money for their family, even though they were, you know, the champion. They still didn't make as much as their counterparts.
That's right. That's right. It ain't nothing more powerful than the desire to fight. Let me tell you something. When you get hit, you know, you're old school. You get hit in that, you're in that la-la land where you're in the middle, you're not conscious, you're not unconscious, and you start thinking about your mortality, you start thinking about, do I really want to do this? That's where the heart is measured, right there. These days, nothing tests the heart because everybody's fencing. So it's no one that, people very seldom have to go through the fire, you know, to get there. They fencing. Look at Shakur Stevenson. fencing and slap boxing for 12 rounds. I didn't get the nerve, instead of saying to his fans in the boxing public in general, instead of saying, well, you know, my bad, I stunk it out, I apologize, that'll never happen again. Instead of saying that, he comes and starts making excuses about, well, I still won and blah, 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 blah. This is the type of stuff that aggravates me with boxing, because it wasn't like that before. You know that, Reginald. It wasn't even like that.
Before. We held up to our own. When we got beat, we held up to our own, and that's another thing that you know that irks me about the sport of boxing now. I mean, I'm not going to stop watching it, because back in the day when when Howard Cosell and those guys, and they would interview a fighter, you know, right? They interview the loser and the winner. Now interview the winner. Well, we want to know, you know, the mindset of the loser. You know, what happened? What went on? Well, when they start telling the truth about it, you know, they felt like they won, and the fans know they won, you know, but because they weren't the favorite, they didn't win. They started, you know, oozing out the interviewing the loser. You know, I want to get back to, like you said, old school ways, back when we grew up. Ringside Magazine, KO Magazine, all those magazines used to bring the truth out about boxing. That's what RWB Sports magazine is looking at doing, is bringing that truth back to the sport of boxing.
That's right. Boxing was never, nothing ever challenged boxing's nobility. Now, what I mean by that is that boxing was here. The heavyweight championship belt was the most coveted sports, coveted trophy in sports. Period. That means including the Lombardi trophy, including the basketball, the tennis trophy. The heavyweight championship belt was the most coveted trophy in sports.
Yes.
Now, it's nothing.
No,
it doesn't. And I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to go that far. It's not nothing, but it's not what it used to be. You see what I'm saying? Did we forget? Did we? That's why you could get the sport convoluted with other sports. UFC, MMA, and you can get these kids that come around and that don't. All right, let me just say this one thing, because I got to get this off my chest. I rant about this all the time. Let me tell you something. I get tired of these nerds that never fought. YouTube is littered with a bunch of idiots that never been in the ring, don't know nothing about boxing, but they got YouTube channels. And some of these fools like Fanon and Showbiz the Adult, these guys are straight nerds, never been in a fight, won't bust a grape in a fruit fight, won't do a rock in a glass house, but yet they got big platforms, 100,000, 20,000 subscribers. That right there irks me, because all they got, listen, you can have Google, you can have knowledge. Knowledge is not wisdom. Wisdom is the bridge that goes from knowledge to wisdom is experience. So if you don't get the experience, you don't get the wisdom. You have the knowledge, you can go. Listen, I can Google or AI, give me a 10-step bullet point plan on how to perform brain surgery. Google's going to give me a layout of how to do it. I can read that. I can memorize that. That doesn't give me the right to take my memory and go to a brain surgeon who actually does brain surgery and try to debate him on what he does. Because if I need a brain surgery for my grandmother, I'm not picking you, nerd. I'm picking the one who's done it. So we're talking about experience.
The one that's done it.
That's right.
Until you've been in that square circle, until you have felt those blows, until you felt those punches, until you've been busted in the mouth and you don't remember the first round to the last round. You know. You don't have a voice in the sport of boxing.
That's right. And I say you don't. And when people say stuff like this, when they go, well, I got a right to my opinion. No, you don't. You don't have a right. I'm going to tell you why, because you never did it. Why the hell? When do we stop calling idiots idiots? In other words, everyone's opinion is not valid. When you say, I have a right to my opinion, you actually don't have a right. If you're not an expert, a certified expert that's been through it, you have no business trying to be any kind of authority in something you ain't never did. You kiss my black butt, I ain't going for it. I'll never agree to that. I talk you all day long. You know what I'm saying? We're right. I think we're getting a little low here. I'm looking what we got. Your time is getting going quick, man.
Yeah, so like I said before, we're going to come back and we're going to revisit this again. I keep it at 28 minutes, just for the simple fact that I don't want to, just overwhelm people with information. So it keeps them coming back. And this is going to be a great one. We're going to have a part 5, 10, 15, and 20 on this, because we can sit here, we can talk boxing, and we can talk the way that it used to be all day long. And I agree 100%. But it's gonna have to be a 2-part series. You know what I'm saying? Because
Do
we've
your
got.
thing. Hey, you got plenty of editing to do now, brother.
Yes, I got.
Hey, I didn't think we was gonna be on this long, but it's been a pleasure, man. I really appreciate sharing the platform with you and everything, and it's been awesome.
It's been awesome. It's been great. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out and let everybody know. Hey, Greg, thank you for coming on the show. Guys, this is Greg Townes with Punching Bag Skunk Boxing. Greg, if you want to, let them know again where they can catch your media on Facebook. They can catch it on all the social platforms. You got a website. Let them know where they.
Punching Bag Skunk, the brand is across the board. So anywhere it's the same brand, Punching Bag Skunk. We're on Reddit, we're on Instagram, we're on Pinterest, we're on Facebook. Obviously, we got the Facebook fastest growing Facebook group on Facebook called Punching Bag Skunk Facebook boxing group. We got Punching Bag Skunk website.com. We got Punching Bag. We're everywhere, man. You can Google Punching Bag Skunk. Everything will come up. Instagram, I said Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, man. So go check me out. We got some new fire video coming out on Punching Bag Skunk YouTube channel. I'm getting ready to edit it tomorrow. Should be ready to go up about the new show about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. I just started a new channel called Black Truth Uncut. We got a video on there called Defending Shannon Shop. Might want to check that out. It's really awesome. So Black Truth Uncut YouTube channel, Punching Bag Skunk. And hey, listen, and again, I want to give a kudos to my man, Reginald Peoples, doing big things. And I appreciate coming on the show, my man.
Hey, I appreciate it, Gregory. Thank you very much. Everybody, this is Reginald Peoples, RWB Sports. I'm glad you tuned in and listened to me and Gregory banter back and forth about what we believe in. We both old school, but we both love the sport of boxing. We've been there. We stepped in that square circle. We did our business, and now we're doing things in the community, giving back. So we want to take this opportunity to let you know, catch us, RWB Sports. We'll see you in the turn.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you, my brother.
All right, man. Hit me up. Let me know what's good.
I will, brother.
Peace, my brother.